King Abdullah has passed away at the age of 90. He leaves behind a somewhat mixed record when it comes to human rights. He came to power initially as a reformer, and there was a lot of hope at the beginning of his reign that there would be lasting institutional gains in the areas of press freedom, of freedom of expression, freedom of association, and other basic rights. Over his reign, Saudi Arabia did change its trajectory towards women's rights and moved from a very obstinate position towards a position of pushing for greater reforms and more freedoms for women. For example, Saudi Arabia opened up educational opportunities for women, and it also opened up more workforce opportunities and in fact promoted the right of Saudi women to work in many cases. However, the legacy on women's rights is somewhat mixed, as under King Abdullah's reign, the authorities failed to bring an end to the discriminatory male guardianship system under which Saudi men are essentially able to control basic life functions of their women dependents. In the areas of basic rights such as freedom of expression and association and assembly, King Abdullah came to power with great promise. But unfortunately, after 2011, whatever small window had been created for tolerance for differing views was swiftly closed. And Saudi Arabia, in fact, embarked on a massive campaign to intimidate, arrest, jail, prosecute any Saudi citizen who dared to contradict official government policy in the press or online, or any Saudi who called for greater respect for human rights and institutional reforms. We saw particularly egregious sentences handed down to peaceful human rights activists in the last 2 years of King Abdullah's reign, merely for expressing their ideas freely. Activists such as Walid Abu Khair, who's now serving a 15-year jail sentence for merely calling for human rights, as well as activists such as liberal blogger Raif Badawi, who was sentenced to 10 years and 1,000 public lashes merely for advocating his liberal ideas peacefully. So, you know, the new king who comes in, it's incumbent upon him to try to improve the human rights situation in the country. And he can do that most quickly by ordering the immediate release of all Saudi citizens who have been jailed for merely practicing their right to free expression peacefully. And he can usher in a new era of reform in women's rights by abolishing the male guardianship system.